The alien queen laughed at human warriors until she witnessed one in battle. Among the stars, the Xerath queen glided like a dark predator, its massive hull reflecting the glow of distant suns. Inside the ship, the alien queen sat upon her throne, tall and regal, her multi-limbed figure gleaming under the cold artificial lights. Around her, her council of advisors whispered calculations and battle reports, but she paid little attention. She was amused, a rare smile curling across her sharp features. "Humans," she said, her voice a smooth blend of melody and authority, "such tiny creatures. They scurry across their planets like insects, thinking they matter in the galaxy." The council bowed their heads in agreement. One of the advisors, a long-limbed strategist named Virin, dared to speak. "Majesty, reports indicate they have small fleets and primitive weapons. They are nothing compared to the Xerath armadas. A single strike—" "They are nothing," the queen interrupted, laughter echoing through the chamber. "I want no hesitation. Send a fleet to test them. Let us see if they are even clever enough to run." Virin nodded, hiding a flicker of unease. The queen's laughter did not mean they would face anything other than humiliation. For the aliens, humans were a novelty, amusing in their bravery but utterly predictable. Meanwhile, light years away, the humans were unaware of the observation. On the planet Urindor, human colonies thrived on rugged landscapes filled with mountains and forests. The planet was a mix of natural beauty and human ingenuity. Towers of glass and steel reached into the sky, while small villages clung to hillsides, surrounded by farms and clear rivers. Commander Alina Voss stood on a training field outside the capital city, her eyes scanning the horizon as her warriors prepared for drills. The sun reflected off her polished armor, though the heat of the day made it uncomfortable. She was tall, with sharp features softened by warmth when she smiled, but she seldom smiled during training. Discipline came first. "Remember," she said, her voice carrying clearly across the field, "strength alone doesn't win battles. Speed, timing, teamwork, and thinking ahead, that is how humans survive." Her warriors nodded, a mix of young recruits and seasoned soldiers. Among them was Lieutenant Rico, a lithe and quick-minded young warrior, always pushing himself to try new strategies. Today, he was paired with a more experienced soldier, testing a new formation. The training was harsh but necessary. Humans were small in numbers compared to many other species in the galaxy, and the universe did not wait for the weak. Alina watched as Rico and his partner ran through a series of complex maneuvers, dodging simulated attacks and responding to unexpected obstacles. "Excellent," she called. "You are learning. Always remember, predictable patterns are deadly. The moment an enemy expects your move, they have the advantage." Rico grinned slightly. He liked that about Alina. She never underestimated the humans' potential, even if the odds were always stacked against them. High above, the human fleets were quietly assembling. Ships of all sizes gathered near orbit, their silver hulls reflecting the sunlight. Sensors scanned for threats, while communication channels remained open but silent. For now, it was just preparation. Humans had survived for centuries by thinking fast, adapting, and never surrendering, even in the face of overwhelming odds. Back on the Xerath Queen, the Queen's amusement did not stop. Her eyes, multifaceted and glowing faintly, fixed on a small holographic projection of the human planet. "So fragile, so brave, and yet so unaware," she said. "Let us remind them why they should fear the stars." The Council activated the fleet. Ships bristling with weapons detached from the mothership, moving in perfect formation with almost mechanical precision. Their journey would take days, but the aliens were patient. They expected humans to crumble the moment the first ship appeared. On Urindor, no one noticed the distant fleet moving silently through space. Life continued as usual. Children played in the fields, traders bargained in the markets, and scholars debated science and philosophy in the universities. Yet, there was always a sense of vigilance. Humans had learned long ago that the galaxy was filled with species far stronger and larger than themselves. This vigilance was not fear, it was preparation. Commander Voss returned to the fleet headquarters. Inside the command center, holographic maps displayed star systems and planetary positions. Her second-in-command, Captain Alaric, approached her. "Commander," he said, "our scouts report unusual energy signatures near the outer orbit. We are still analyzing them, but it doesn't match anything in our database." Alina studied the readings. The energy spikes were too coordinated, too structured to be natural. Could it be an asteroid cluster? She asked. Alaric shook his head. No, Commander. The pattern indicates propulsion artificial and large-scale. A cold thought passed through Alina's mind. Not yet. Could they have discovered us already? She took a deep breath. Prepare the reconnaissance drones, she ordered. I want eyes in the sky before we act. If this is a threat, we need to understand it before they reach orbit. Hours later, the drones transmitted images back. Shadows of massive ships, shapes the size of small cities, glided through space. Alina's jaw tightened. Aliens, she murmured. It seems our test is about to begin. At that moment, somewhere in the galaxy, the Queen's laughter echoed again, this time over the communications network, broadcast unintentionally for distant sensors to pick up. Her amusement was infectious, almost mocking. Humans, she said, come out and show yourselves. I am curious how you hope to survive against us. The humans did not respond immediately. They had learned that reacting too quickly was dangerous. They analyzed, calculated, and adapted. Alina studied the fleet formation carefully, noting weak points, potential traps, and predictable patterns. Rico, standing beside her, spoke quietly, almost to himself. They think we are small and weak. They don't know we never give up. Alina nodded. And that's exactly what will save us. Prepare the fleet. Not for battle yet, not until we understand their moves, but remind every soldier, intelligence and courage are stronger than size alone. As night fell on Erendor, the planet's twin moons casting silver light over forests and rivers, humans continued their routines. Soldiers trained under the moonlight, engineers repaired ships, and civilians lived as if the galaxy were calm. But in the shadows of space, something was coming, an alien fleet confident in victory, amused by what it believed were insignificant opponents. Yet humans had one thing the Queen did not fully understand: creativity, courage, and the will to survive. These were qualities that could turn even the smallest spark into a flame that lit the dark void of space. The next morning, Alina watched the horizon again. Soon, she said softly, we will show them that humans are not to be underestimated. The Xerath Queen continued to move closer, oblivious to the strength and determination simmering below. Its queen was confident, its fleet powerful, but the humans were not ordinary prey. They were unpredictable, resourceful, and ready. And somewhere in the shadows, Lieutenant Rico ran simulations on his personal tablet, refining strategies that would test the limits of human ingenuity. He did not yet know which moves would work, but he knew one thing: no alien, no matter how powerful, could predict the human heart. The stars awaited. The Xerath fleet moved silently through the void, massive ships gliding in perfect formation. Each vessel was sleek and deadly, bristling with weapons that could destroy entire cities. The Queen watched from her throne aboard the Xerath Queen, her many eyes glowing with anticipation. So many humans, she said, her voice laced with amusement. Let's see how these tiny creatures react when they meet true power. Her council remained silent, some of them noting the confidence in her tone, others already imagining the humans' swift defeat. But the Queen was always curious. She leaned forward, her sharp claws tapping on the armrest. I will watch them closely. Perhaps one of them will amuse me, perhaps not. Either way, their end will be swift. Meanwhile, in orbit around Erendor, humans were preparing for what they did not yet fully understand. Reconnaissance drones transmitted images of the alien fleet, shapes so massive they cast shadows across the planet's upper atmosphere. Alina studied the images with careful attention, her face serious. They're close, she said. Larger than we expected, more coordinated than any species we've faced before, but we've faced worse. Lieutenant Rico leaned over her shoulder, eyes scanning the holographic map. They're not just big, he said. They're precise. Every ship is in perfect formation. But see here, he pointed to a small gap between two vessels. If we can lure them here, we could disrupt their formation. It's risky, but it's our only chance to level the playing field. Alina nodded. Good, assemble the strike team. I want every pilot, every ship ready. We may not win the first fight, but we will survive. That is step one. Humans were outnumbered. They knew this. Their ships were smaller, faster, and less armed compared to the alien war machines. But humans had something aliens often underestimated: unpredictability. Creativity, the ability to think beyond what technology could anticipate. By evening, the human fleet had taken position near a dense asteroid field. Using the natural debris as cover, they prepared for the first encounter. Engineers double-checked shields, pilots ran simulations, and Alina addressed her warriors. "Listen to me," she said, her voice steady, strong. "We are smaller and weaker, but that does not mean we are powerless. We fight with our minds, with strategy, and with each other. Stay alert, watch for patterns, and above all, don't panic. Humans survive because we adapt. Now it's time to show the universe why." Rico adjusted his helmet, checking his ship's instruments one last time. "I've been waiting for this," he said quietly. "I just hope they're as predictable as we think." As if in answer, sensors picked up the alien fleet approaching at incredible speed. The Xerath ships glided like dark shadows, immense and unyielding. Communication channels transmitted only silence, a calm that made the human warriors tense. The first shots came not from the humans, but from the aliens. Beams of energy lit the space around them, cutting through empty void, testing the human defenses. Most shots were inaccurate, aimed more to intimidate than destroy, but the humans reacted with practiced precision. Alina's fleet moved swiftly. Smaller ships darted through the asteroid field, disappearing and reappearing unpredictably. Larger vessels positioned themselves to cover escape routes and protect the more vulnerable ships. Rico's unit was tasked with drawing attention to one side of the field, acting as bait to lure the aliens into a trap. "Stay calm," Alina's voice came over the comms. "Follow the plan, timing is everything." The aliens pursued, confident that their size and firepower would overwhelm the humans. But they had underestimated one thing: human creativity under pressure. Rico weaved through the debris using the asteroids as shields, while smaller ships cut off escape paths, forcing alien vessels into narrow spaces where their size became a disadvantage. "Now!" Alina shouted. The human fleet launched coordinated attacks, striking alien ships from angles they could not anticipate. Explosions rocked space, energy shields flickering as beams clashed with human weapons. It was chaotic but methodical. Lieutenant Rico found himself face-to-face with a massive alien command drone, easily twice the size of his ship. He could have retreated, but instead, he used the terrain to his advantage. Using a small asteroid as cover, he approached the drone from an unexpected angle, striking weak points identified in earlier simulations. The drone's systems faltered, sparks flying from exposed circuits. The Queen watched the unfolding scene with growing interest. A faint flicker of surprise crossed her face. "Interesting," she murmured. "That one clever, perhaps not completely useless." Rico continued to maneuver with precision, dodging counterattacks and keeping the massive drone off balance. His ship's agility allowed him to exploit weaknesses the aliens had assumed impossible. Every strike was calculated, every movement purposeful. Meanwhile, human engineers remotely assisted, hacking minor alien systems where possible, adding confusion to the already disrupted formation. Even as the humans suffered small losses, their strategy kept the alien fleet from achieving dominance. The battle raged across the asteroid field, beams of energy and flashes of explosions illuminating the darkness of space. Human tactics were unconventional. Ships would split and regroup, appearing in unexpected locations, while others feigned retreat only to return from another direction. Each maneuver surprised the aliens, forcing them to expend more energy and resources than anticipated. The Queen's amusement shifted to fascination. She had expected humans to be reckless, weak, and predictable. Yet here they were, outthinking and outmaneuvering her mighty fleet. One small vessel, no larger than a city block in human terms, was causing significant disruption. "Commander Alina Voss," the Queen said aloud as if speaking to the void. "You are bold, I must admit, you intrigue me." Alina had no idea she was being observed. Her focus was entirely on the battle. "Rico," she called over the comms, "you've drawn enough attention." "Pull back and regroup." Rico hesitated. He could feel the adrenaline, the thrill of controlling the battlefield. But he obeyed. Using a narrow corridor between asteroids, he retreated, leaving the alien drone disoriented and damaged. The humans regrouped, ready for the next phase. The Queen's eyes glowed brighter. "Impressive," she said to herself. "They are far more capable than I expected. Perhaps there is more to this species than amusement and easy victory." The first clash had ended, not in complete victory for either side, but with a lesson learned. The humans survived, battered but intact, and the alien fleet was disrupted enough to reconsider immediate aggression. Elena breathed a sigh of relief as her warriors repaired minor damages and recalibrated systems. This was only the beginning, she said. Her voice was calm but firm. They will come again, stronger, faster, more prepared, but so will we. And next time we will not just survive, we will fight them on our terms. Rico removed his helmet, sweat running down his forehead, his face flushed from the intensity of the fight. They underestimated us, he said, and it almost cost them everything. Elena smiled faintly. They are not invincible. No one is, remember that. Our strength is not just our weapons, it's our minds, our courage, our ability to think differently. Back aboard the Xerath the Queen studied the holographic projections of the battle. Her expression was unreadable, a mix of irritation and intrigue. Humans, she said slowly, so small yet so persistent. Perhaps there is more to them than I imagined. She leaned back, considering her next move. Unlike her council, who were eager to destroy and conquer, she felt a strange curiosity. She had laughed at them at first. She had expected an easy fight. Yet the humans had shown something remarkable: resilience, ingenuity, and the courage to face a threat far beyond their size. Prepare for a larger engagement, she ordered finally, and let us see how far their cleverness can take them. In orbit around Urindor, humans celebrated quietly, careful not to overextend themselves. They knew the aliens would return, and next time the stakes would be even higher. Yet there was pride in survival, pride in proving that ingenuity and courage could challenge even the most powerful foes. As night fell on Urindor once more, the humans stood ready, staring into the stars. Among them, Rico felt a spark of excitement. This was what it meant to be human, not just surviving but thriving against odds that should have broken them. And somewhere in the void, the Xerath Queen continued to watch, her laughter replaced by quiet contemplation. The humans were no longer merely amusing, they were something far more interesting. The galaxy had witnessed the first clash. And it had learned that humans were not so easy to predict. The aftermath of the first encounter left both sides shaken, though in very different ways. The human fleet hovered in orbit around Urindor, their ships scarred and smoking from the brief but intense clash. Engineers worked quickly, repairing shields, recalibrating weapons, and replacing damaged systems. The human pilots, though exhausted, felt a surge of determination. They had survived. They had proven they could fight the alien fleet. Commander Elena Voss paced along the main deck of her flagship, her eyes scanning the holographic displays of the approaching alien fleet. They're regrouping faster than I expected, she said, and they've learned from their mistakes. The next attack will be stronger. Lieutenant Rico, sitting at a console nearby, frowned. They underestimated us the first time, but now they know we exist. This time we're the ones who will be reacting to them. Elena nodded. Exactly, and that's why we need to think beyond reaction. We need to plan, adapt, and control the battlefield. They may have size, speed, and firepower, but we have ingenuity and courage. That is our advantage. Outside the command center, the human fleet moved like a single organism. Ships darted between asteroids and debris, taking cover while scanning the surrounding space. Sensors detected subtle movements far beyond the fleet, signs that the Xerath ships were already positioning themselves for a renewed strike. High above, aboard the Xerath Queen, the alien queen watched with interest. Her multifaceted eyes glowed faintly, reflecting the chaos below. So resilient, she said softly, almost to herself. These humans are small, fragile, yet they fight with purpose. Fascinating. Her council advisors murmured among themselves, urging immediate attack. Majesty, they are regrouping. We should crush them before they have a chance to fortify. The queen shook her head, her long limbs crossing elegantly. No, she said. Observe first. Let them reveal the full extent of their cleverness. Let me see what makes them remarkable. Back on Urindor, humans worked tirelessly. Pilots practiced maneuvers, engineers patched up hulls, and communications officers coordinated the movements of every ship. The humans had learned from the first encounter. Speed, coordination, and unpredictability were essential. Lieutenant Rico joined Elena on the observation deck. Commander, he said, we've mapped the asteroid fields and gravitational anomalies. If we lure them here, we can disrupt their formation again, but it's risky. If they anticipate it, we could lose everything. Elena's eyes narrowed. Risk is part of survival, Rico, and humans do not give up even when the odds are impossible. Prepare the fleet. We may not have the luxury of waiting for the perfect moment. As night fell on the planet, the alien fleet emerged from the darkness of space. Ships of enormous size, bristling with weapons, advanced in perfect formation. The Queen's laughter echoed across comms, though she did not know her signals were being intercepted by human sensors. "Show yourselves, humans," she said. "Let us see what you are truly capable of." The humans held their ground. Every ship was positioned carefully, every pilot alert, every weapons system ready. The asteroid field offered natural cover, but it was also a trap. The humans knew they could not withstand a direct confrontation with the Xerath fleet, so they had to rely on cunning, agility, and teamwork. The first wave of attacks struck without warning. Beams of energy cut across space, tearing through empty areas where humans might have been, testing their responses. Small human vessels darted between asteroids, drawing fire and then retreating. Larger ships targeted alien supply lines, hitting weak points and forcing the alien fleet to adjust constantly. Rico led a squadron through a narrow corridor of asteroids, using the terrain to their advantage. "Stick to the plan," he ordered. "Move fast, strike, and retreat. Confuse them and we survive." The aliens responded with overwhelming force. Massive ships changed direction in unison, sending swarms of drones to attack human formations. Explosions rocked space, bright flashes illuminating the darkness. Several human vessels took heavy damage, forcing pilots to make split-second decisions to survive. Commander Alina watched the chaos unfold. Her mind worked quickly, analyzing every movement, predicting enemy responses, and adjusting the fleet's maneuvers. "Focus on disruption," she called over comms. "Hit their weak points, confuse them, and avoid direct contact. Keep moving." Rico's squadron executed a daring maneuver. Using the asteroid field, they split the alien formation, isolating a smaller group of ships from the main fleet. Rico targeted a command drone, weaving between asteroids with incredible agility. The drone fired repeatedly, but its massive size made it slow to react. Rico struck with precision, disabling critical systems. The Queen observed the scene with growing fascination. "That one again," she murmured. "So small yet so cunning, this is no ordinary species." Even as the humans fought bravely, the alien fleet's size and firepower began to take a toll. Several human ships were destroyed, their hulls vaporized by energy beams. Explosions illuminated the asteroid field, a stark reminder of the danger they faced. Alina's voice was calm, steady, but commanding. "Keep moving, do not panic, use your heads, not just your weapons." The human fleet adapted. Smaller ships feigned retreat, luring the aliens into narrow passages where their size became a disadvantage. Larger ships provided covering fire, creating corridors for the smaller vessels to escape and regroup. Every move was calculated, every strike deliberate. Rico's ship dodged another blast, the heat of the energy beam passing so close it shook his vessel. "They're learning," he said over comms. "We need to keep changing our tactics," Alina nodded. "Then we change faster than they can anticipate. Humans survive because we adapt. Remember that." The battle reached its peak. The humans were outnumbered, outgunned, and facing impossible odds. Yet they fought with courage, ingenuity, and determination. Every maneuver, every attack, every retreat was designed to outthink the alien fleet rather than overpower it. The Queen, observing, felt something unfamiliar: admiration. She had expected humans to crumble under the pressure of superior firepower. Instead, they adapted, survived, and even struck back in ways she had not anticipated. "Interesting," she said softly. "They are persistent, clever, and courageous. Perhaps they are worthy of attention, if not yet respect." In the midst of the chaos, Rico spotted an opportunity. A small but critical alien supply ship had strayed from the main formation. With precise calculation, he maneuvered his ship between two massive asteroids, using them as shields. He launched a targeted strike, disabling the supply vessel and causing disruption across the alien formation. The aliens struggled to respond. Their formation wavered, their energy beams misfired, and drones collided as the human fleet exploited every weakness. For a moment, humans had turned the tide. Alina's voice rang over comms, steady and commanding. "Focus, fire, disrupt, confuse, survive. This is our moment." Even as the humans pressed their advantage, the battle exacted a cost. Several ships were lost and many pilots were injured, yet the fleet held together, resilient and determined. The Queen leaned back, her many eyes reflecting the chaos below. "Remarkable," she said. I expected fear, but they show neither weakness nor panic. Perhaps I underestimated them. The humans, battered but intact, retreated toward safer orbit. They had survived the worst of the assault, demonstrating courage, skill, and ingenuity. Their victory was not complete, but it was proof that humans were not easily defeated. Elena looked at her fleet, pride in her eyes despite the losses. We survived because we adapted, because we thought, because we did not give up. Remember that, everyone. This is only the beginning. Rico removed his helmet, sweat streaking his face, his body trembling from the intensity of the fight. We did it, he said quietly. We actually did it. Elena placed a hand on his shoulder. Yes, but this is not the end. They will come again, stronger, smarter, more prepared, and so must we. The queen watched silently as the humans regrouped. Her amusement had turned into fascination. These tiny creatures, so fragile by any measure, had survived against overwhelming odds. She could not help but respect their courage and ingenuity, though she would never admit it to her council. Humans, she whispered almost to herself, so small yet so remarkable. Perhaps I have underestimated them entirely. Back on Urindor, the human fleet repaired and prepared for the next encounter. The soldiers, engineers, and pilots knew the aliens would return, but they also knew one thing. They had faced impossible odds and survived. That knowledge was more powerful than any weapon. Rico gazed out at the stars, determination in his eyes. We may be small, he said softly, but we are humans, and humans never give up. Elena nodded. Exactly, and the universe is about to learn that lesson. The stars above were calm, silent witnesses to the battle that had just unfolded, but the calm was temporary. The Xerath Queen would return, and the humans would be ready. Their courage, ingenuity, and unbreakable spirit had survived the first wave. The next clash would test them further, but they had proven one undeniable truth. Humans were not to be underestimated. And somewhere in the void, the alien queen pondered a truth she had never considered before. Small, clever, and brave creatures could challenge even the mightiest fleet in the galaxy. The stage was set for the next battle. The human fleet had retreated to a safe distance, their ships battered and exhausted, but alive. Repairs were ongoing, shields were being reinforced, and weapons recalibrated. For the moment, there was silence, but it was the calm before the storm. The Xerath fleet had vanished into the darkness of space, regrouping for another strike. Commander Elena Voss studied the fleet's holographic display, tracing the paths of the retreating aliens. They are reorganizing, she said, and they will return stronger. We need to anticipate their next move. Lieutenant Rico, seated at a console nearby, glanced at the readings with sharp focus. Commander, he said, one of their battle units has been separated from the main fleet. Its shields are lower than normal, and it is slower than the others. We could strike it, but it will be dangerous. Elena's eyes narrowed. She knew Rico's skill, courage, and cleverness better than anyone. If you take that unit, she said, make sure it counts. We cannot afford to waste ships, but you might be able to turn the tide of the next battle. Rico swallowed, adrenaline mixing with determination. I understand, Commander. I'll do it. Hours later, as the stars stretched endlessly around them, Rico piloted his small but agile ship toward the isolated alien unit. The vessel was immense, dwarfing Rico's craft, bristling with energy cannons and drones. He could feel the weight of the mission pressing against him, but fear was tempered by focus. Humans survived not because they were fearless, but because they were smart. The alien unit turned to face him, massive cannons glowing with power. It fired without hesitation, beams of energy slicing through the void, aimed precisely at his small ship. Rico twisted and dodged, narrowly avoiding the blasts, weaving between asteroids that offered temporary cover. The Queen observed the scene aboard her flagship, her multiple eyes following every movement. This one again, she said softly. The small human, so daring, so clever. Let us see how far this goes. Rico scanned the alien vessel for weak points. Its weapons were formidable, its shield strong, but its size made it sluggish. With careful calculation, he identified vulnerable points near the engine arrays and control nodes. His plan was precise: strike fast, disrupt systems, and retreat before the alien could retaliate effectively. He activated a series of feints and decoys. Small drones mimicked his ship's movements, drawing fire and confusing the alien sensors. The massive vessel fired repeatedly, energy beams scorching empty space, unable to track the true target. Rico's fingers flew over the controls, adjusting trajectory, timing attacks, and predicting the aliens' responses. He felt the tension, but also clarity. This was the essence of human ingenuity, thinking beyond what the enemy expected, exploiting weaknesses, and using intelligence over size. The first strike hit. Rico's ship fired a concentrated pulse at one of the aliens' shield generators. Sparks and energy arcs danced across the surface, weakening the unit's defenses. The alien responded, but it was slower, and Rico was faster, anticipating every move. The Queen's lips curved slightly, her expression unreadable to her advisors. "Impressive," she murmured. "This human is more than mere amusement. Perhaps he is worthy of attention." Rico pressed on. Using the asteroid field, he maneuvered around the alien unit, striking exposed nodes with precise energy pulses. The massive vessel shuddered, systems sparking, drones falling offline. For the first time, the alien seemed unsure, its movements hesitant. "Almost there," Rico whispered to himself, sweat dripping from his brow. He knew one final strike could cripple the unit completely, but it was risky. He would have to get close between the alien's massive energy cannons and target the main control hub. One mistake, and his ship would be destroyed. The alien fired relentlessly, beams slicing the void, but Rico used every trick he knew: rapid maneuvers, decoy drones, and sudden changes in trajectory. He slipped through gaps in the fire, moving like a shadow between explosions. The closer he got, the more critical timing became. Finally, he reached the control hub. With a precise strike, he fired a concentrated pulse directly at the central array. Energy arcs exploded across the alien unit as systems faltered. Shields flickered, weapons jammed, and drones lost coordination. The massive vessel staggered in space, almost helpless. The Queen's eyes widened, her fascination turning to something almost alien in her own species. "Oh, so small," she whispered, "yet so effective." One human can change the outcome of a battle. Rico didn't pause. Using the confusion he had created, he executed a series of rapid attacks, further destabilizing the alien systems. The massive vessel floundered, unable to respond effectively. Rico's plan was working. But even as he struck, he remained aware of the danger. One wrong move and he would be trapped in the alien's counterfire. His hands moved quickly, adjusting shields, evading attacks, and timing every pulse perfectly. Every action was calculated, every movement deliberate. The alien unit fired a final volley of energy, massive beams converging on Rico's ship. But he anticipated it. Using a nearby asteroid as cover, he slipped between the firing lines, letting the beams collide harmlessly against rock. Then, with a single, precise strike, he disabled the alien's propulsion systems entirely. The massive vessel drifted, powerless, while Rico's ship hovered at a safe distance. He had done it. The isolated alien battle unit was neutralized, its firepower removed from the upcoming engagement. The Queen leaned back, her multi-limbed form tense with fascination. She had expected humans to be small, weak, and easily defeated. Instead, one tiny ship had outmaneuvered a massive war machine, exploiting strategy and intelligence over size. "This human," she whispered, her tone almost reverent, "may be exceptional." Rico didn't linger. He transmitted the coordinates of the disabled alien vessel to the main human fleet, allowing them to exploit the advantage. Then, carefully, he navigated back to safe orbit. His ship was battered, systems strained, but he was alive. And in his mind, he knew something had changed. Humans could survive and even excel against overwhelming odds. Back at the Fleet Command Center, Alina received Rico's transmission. Her eyes widened with pride and disbelief. "He did it," she said softly. "He actually did it." Rico returned to the fleet, greeted by cheers from his fellow pilots. "We can win this," he said, voice steady but filled with excitement. "One step at a time, we can win." The Queen observed the humans celebrating, a mixture of irritation and admiration in her gaze. "Clever," she said, "brave, persistent, they are remarkable," her council murmured in confusion. "Majesty, the human has destroyed one of our units. We could retaliate." "No," she interrupted. "Not yet. Observe, learn. There is something about this species that cannot be understood by force alone. One human has changed the outcome of a battle. Perhaps we must reconsider our assumptions." For the humans, Rico's success was more than just a tactical victory. It was proof that courage, intelligence, and adaptability could overcome even the greatest obstacles. The fleet repaired, recalibrated, and prepared for the next confrontation, now armed with confidence that humans could fight not just to survive, but to triumph. Alina gathered her officers for a briefing. "Listen carefully," she said. "Rico's success shows us what is possible. It is proof that one human, using skill, courage, and cleverness, can alter the course of a battle. We must learn from this. We must innovate, adapt, and stay ahead. The next clash will come, but we are ready." Rico, standing beside her, nodded. "We are small," he said, "but we are humans, and humans never give up, no matter the odds." The Queen, observing from her flagship, continued to reflect. She had expected humans to be amusing, fragile, and easily crushed. Instead, she had witnessed something extraordinary. A single human had outmaneuvered a massive alien war machine, exploiting intelligence over size and courage over fear. "Perhaps," she said, her voice thoughtful, "humans are not to be underestimated. Perhaps they are exceptional." The stars above remained silent, indifferent witnesses to the unfolding drama. Yet something had changed in the galaxy that night. Humans had proven that ingenuity, bravery, and resilience could challenge even the mightiest foes. And somewhere in the darkness of space, the alien queen's respect for humanity had begun to grow. The humans prepared for the battles yet to come, stronger in spirit, wiser in strategy, and united in courage. Lieutenant Rico had shown them all that one human could change everything. And as the Xerath fleet gathered for another assault, the Queen knew that the next encounter would not be as simple as she had once believed. The stage was set for the final clash. The galaxy was quiet once more, but only for a moment. The human fleet, battered yet resilient, hovered above Urindor, repairing damage from the recent clashes. The planet below was calm, its forests, rivers, and mountains peaceful under the light of twin moons. But above the atmosphere, the humans knew that danger still lurked. Commander Alina Voss walked the main deck of her flagship, her boots making soft thuds against the metal floor. Her gaze was steady, focused on the holographic displays showing alien movement across nearby sectors. The first and second encounters had tested their skill and courage. The humans had survived, even gained small victories. But the alien fleet was vast, powerful, and persistent. "Commander," Lieutenant Rico said, stepping beside her, "we've identified a weak point in their formation. Their supply lines are stretched, and the smaller units are not well coordinated. If we strike carefully, we could force them to retreat, or at least disrupt them again." Alina studied the data. "It will be risky," she said. "One wrong move and we could lose a third of our fleet, but we've survived worse odds. We've outthought them before, and we can do it again." Rico nodded. He had faced the massive alien battle unit alone before and had survived, proving that humans were more than just small and fragile. His success had inspired the entire fleet, giving them confidence that courage and intelligence could overcome size and firepower. "We have one chance to show them exactly who we are," Alina continued. "We fight not just to survive, but to prove that humans are clever, adaptable, and unyielding. That is how we win, by thinking differently, by working together, by never giving up." As they prepared, the distant shimmer of the alien fleet appeared in the void. The Xerath Queen herself had taken command, overseeing the coming engagement. Her ships moved with precision, their massive silhouettes cutting through the darkness of space. The humans watched carefully, noting patterns and formations, ready to strike at every weak point. The Queen observed the humans from her flagship, her eyes reflecting the glow of distant stars. "They have survived more than I anticipated," she said softly. "And one human in particular has demonstrated extraordinary skill. Perhaps it is time to truly observe, to learn from them, rather than simply conquer them." Alina's fleet moved into position near a dense asteroid belt, using the natural formations as cover. Smaller ships darted between rocks, larger vessels created defensive lines, and every pilot followed the strategy with precision. Humans had learned that survival depended not on sheer force, but on creativity, teamwork, and courage. The aliens struck first, massive energy beams cutting through the darkness, targeting human positions. But the humans were ready. Rico's squadron executed unpredictable maneuvers, weaving through asteroids and using decoy drones to confuse sensors. Larger vessels fired precisely at supply lines and weak points in the alien formation, creating temporary chaos. The Queen watched, her expression a mixture of fascination and surprise. The humans were not just surviving, they were controlling the battle, dictating its pace and flow. She had expected panic, mistakes, and easy victory for her fleet. Instead, she witnessed order, strategy, and determination. "Clever," she said softly, almost reverently. "Persistent, brave, adaptable. These humans, they are extraordinary." Rico led a daring maneuver. Using the asteroid belt as a shield, he approached a group of alien drones targeting the human fleet's flanks. With precise energy pulses, he disabled several drones, causing confusion among the enemy formation. One massive battle unit, previously isolated, attempted to counterattack, but Rico exploited its slow reaction time, slipping past its defenses and striking its engine array. The alien vessel faltered, its firepower reduced, leaving gaps in the fleet. Alina seized the opportunity. "Focus fire on their exposed units," she commanded. "We can turn this into a decisive advantage." The humans worked together like a single organism, exploiting every weakness and adapting to every move the aliens made. Beams collided in space, explosions lit the void, and human ingenuity continued to outthink raw alien strength. The Queen watched the unfolding battle with growing admiration. She had expected humans to be fragile, reckless, and amusing. Instead, they were courageous, clever, and relentless. One human, Lieutenant Rico, had already changed the outcome of a previous encounter. Now the entire fleet was demonstrating the same intelligence and resolve. "Perhaps," the Queen whispered, "these humans are not to be underestimated. Perhaps they deserve respect." In the midst of the chaos, Rico noticed a massive alien command vessel attempting to flank the human fleet. Its size and firepower were intimidating, but Rico saw an opportunity. He communicated silently with the fleet's pilots, coordinating a simultaneous strike. Using rapid maneuvers and synchronized attacks, they distracted the massive vessel while targeting its propulsion systems. The alien ship staggered, its energy beams faltering and drones falling offline. The humans pressed their advantage, pushing the alien formation back. For the first time, the alien fleet faced real disruption at the hands of the humans. The Queen leaned forward, eyes wide. "Impossible," she murmured. "One species so small can command such strategy? Fascinating." Even as the humans gained ground, they remained cautious. They knew the aliens could recover, could adapt, could strike back. But for now, they controlled the battle, forcing retreat after retreat. Their courage and intelligence were unmatched, their teamwork flawless. Alina addressed her fleet. "This is our moment. We've survived, we've adapted, and we've outthought them. Keep focus, keep moving, and prove that humans are unstoppable when united." The humans fought with everything they had. Their ships darted, fired, and retreated in perfect coordination. Every move was calculated, every strike precise. Even the smallest vessels made a difference, and every pilot understood that courage and intelligence mattered more than size. The alien fleet, though vast and powerful, began to falter. Their formations broke, their strategy disrupted. The humans had turned survival into victory through ingenuity, courage, and teamwork. The Queen watched silently, her eyes reflecting not anger or frustration, but awe. She had expected humans to be amusing, fragile, and easily crushed. Instead, they had not only survived, they had changed the battle's outcome. "Remarkable," she said softly. "These humans, so small yet so capable, perhaps I was wrong to laugh. Perhaps I underestimated them entirely." The human fleet, sensing the aliens' disarray, did not press recklessly. Instead, they maintained control, forcing the aliens to retreat while minimizing further risk. The engagement ended not in destruction, but in undeniable proof of human ingenuity and courage. Back aboard the Xerath Queen, the alien queen made a decision. Her fleet had been forced to withdraw, not because of strength, but because of cleverness, courage, and adaptability. She could no longer see humans as mere insects to be crushed. "Prepare communication," she said to her council. "I will speak to them, not as a conqueror, but as one who has witnessed true skill and courage. Humans have earned my attention." Alina received the alien transmission with cautious curiosity. On her screen appeared the shimmering image of the Queen herself, her form majestic, imposing, yet calm. "Humans of Urendor," the Queen said, her voice deep and melodic, "I have watched you. I have laughed at your courage, expecting weakness, but I have been proven wrong. One of you and now your fleet has shown intelligence, bravery, and skill beyond what I anticipated. You are not to be dismissed. You are not to be mocked. You have earned my respect." Elena studied the figure on the screen, her mind racing but her voice steady. Thank you. We fight not to prove ourselves to others, but to survive, to protect our people, and to ensure our place in the galaxy. But your respect is noted. The Queen inclined her head. Perhaps in time there can be understanding between our species. For now, know this. Humans are clever, adaptable, and brave. You have proven yourselves among the stars. The transmission ended, leaving silence in its wake. The humans had survived, yes, but more importantly, they had gained recognition from the mightiest adversary they had faced. Rico turned to Elena, a mix of relief and pride on his face. We did it, he said softly. We survived, and they respect us. Elena smiled, her eyes reflecting the distant stars. We are humans, she said. Small in size, perhaps, but large in courage, ingenuity, and spirit. This is who we are, and this is how we survive. And now, even the galaxy knows it. Above the planet, the stars continued to shine, silent witnesses to the events that had unfolded. The humans had faced impossible odds, survived, and shown that ingenuity, courage, and adaptability could triumph over sheer size and power. The Xerath Queen had laughed once, but now she understood. Humans were remarkable, humans were resilient, humans were worthy of respect. And as the alien fleet withdrew, the humans looked toward the stars not in fear, but with hope, determination, and readiness for the challenges yet to come. They had survived. They had prevailed. And they had proven that the human spirit could shine brightly, even in the darkest corners of space. The galaxy had witnessed it. The alien queen had witnessed it. And humans, united by courage, ingenuity, and unbreakable resolve, had secured their place among the stars. The story of Lieutenant Rico, Commander Elena Voss, and the human fleet became legend, not because of size or firepower, but because of brilliance, courage, and the indomitable will to survive. The universe would not forget it.